Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Tilton Talk show, sponsored by Small Affordable Cars. I'm Paul Hipkiss.
And I'm Claire Giblin.
And tonight we're joined by Alan Watson.
Good evening.
Mark Meredith.
Evening all.
Mr. Fixer Craig Courtney.
Good evening.
Mark Adams.
Big thumbs up from me. Good evening.
Chris Browne, the main man.
Good evening.
So we get a 2-2, very entertaining game on Saturday, I thought. I thoroughly enjoyed it, even though we didn't. I never enjoy it when we don't win usually, but I did actually thoroughly enjoy the game, and I thought we were well worth the point in the end. And from two sides of the sort of story, I thought there were two really good goals we scored, obviously from an attacking point of view, and the two goals that we conceded were pretty poor from a defensive point of view. But we'll start with you, Claire. Give us your thoughts.
I think... Well, everyone was buzzing, I think, when they walked into the stadium. It had a totally different feel compared to weeks before. I think we played well. I think we kept the ball well. It did make me laugh because I think that we were doing what Rooney wanted us to do, like play out from the back. We had high tempo, press. And I do think Hogan had a really good game. Did he have many chances? No. Did he work hard? Yes. And I think with the press, I think he did really well. I couldn't believe it when he tried an overhead kick. I think, that's one for the... we'll write that one down because I didn't think I've ever seen that. We just didn't take our chances. If we had taken our chances in the first half, we could have been 3 or 4-0 up. And I think that's where, they had 2 chances and scored, and we had however many, in the first half. But I'm glad JJ got a goal and Dembele looked back to his best. I think how it looked on paper was really good as well. I think having the right back far up, but it was nice to see there was like a back 3. So instead of pushing both full backs up, you actually it was solid. So we've got to build on this. I think tomorrow we'll see a lot of the fringe players and the players that, haven't been in. But I think he brought on the subs to see who was around and what they were like coming on. But I think he'll do that for the next couple of games, and then he'll have his certain players. But really happy to take that and build on it from tomorrow.
I think the biggest thing that jumped out to me was when it comes out from the goalkeeper now, it goes forward, doesn't it? It doesn't go sideways. It doesn't go across our penalty box. And we were doing that a lot less than what we did under, obviously, Rooney. And every time now Drama or Buchanan got the ball, they were looking, weren't they? They were looking for Stansfield, or he was looking for Dembele, and he was looking to play that forward pass, which is so much better than just watching us tap it round the edge of our own penalty box, which drove me up the wall and always has. So, Mark Meredith, give us your thoughts, mate.
Yeah, listen, I agree with you and Claire. The attitude was better. You could see that from the start, from the fans and from the players. I think we had more drive to go and play and push and really get the result. I think, looking at that 2 weeks ago, if you're 2-1 down going into the 97th minute, it's pretty dead around the place. Yeah. People are ready to go home. We've probably lost the game. The players look a little bit push and start. So it's really nice to see that push. And when I was watching it on the TV here, seeing 8 minutes go up on the board, I still had that feeling that there was another chance in the game. Yeah. So obviously James has come on and scored a great one, but as I just said, I think, Mowbray's come in. He's only had a week with them, but you can see that he's put a more of a structure in place. We played almost like Rooney, like you said, like Rooney wants to play with the high press and the fullback, but very much more structured, very much more idea. The players have a better idea of what they're trying to do. Yeah. When one fullback pushes, he pushes on the side of the ball so the other fullback can come in and protect. And that's the biggest thing. Mowbray's a defender. He's going to always have a mind of defense first as well as being on the front foot and pushing. So I think, it was exciting to see. Swansea are a decent team, got some good results over the last couple of weeks. So to take a draw, although I think we could have won the game. I think we, Alan said it last week, and I totally agree with him. We lack the finishing touch. We've lacked it for how many years now? We just don't have that 2 or 3 goals more in us. A Dembele, great finish for the first one. Should have scored the second when he's 1-on-1 just before half-time. Just after half-time. And that's the key things. You know, you walk away a little bit disappointed, but you walk away disappointed, I think, in a good way and not a bad way this week. Because I think that we could have, you know, maybe stole the game. But the big thing for me is we got back into it late. You've seen the buzz around the place, and I look forward to moving forward now. I'm excited to see what he does tomorrow with some of the players on the fringe, the Andersons and people like that, just to give them a push and see how they do. And then, push on in Saturday and really start to get up to the league. And I hate to say this, but seeing Sheffield Wednesday lose and Rotherham lose and QPR lose and people around us, then for me, even though we don't want to look to the bottom, it's an extra point gained on them and another push forward to stay away from there.
Yeah, definitely. I think I'll come back onto the game in a minute, but obviously we had some really big news broke out of the club last week, obviously with Ian Dutton announcing that he was leaving the club after 17 years of service. And one special moment for me was when JJ scored. As you know, I sit just in front of the padded seats, don't I, behind me. And I've turned round when we scored and looked behind me, and the first person looking down at me, joining in the celebrations with me and putting his thumb up to me and everything, is Ian Dutton. So that was a moment that was pretty special for me after the news that obviously broke last week. But I just want to start by thanking Ian for all his incredible service to the club over all that time. And, you know, I'm hoping in the future we might be able to get him on to have a chat with us. But, you know, right now I just wanted to, you know, top of the show, thank Ian for all his hard work, and especially this last sort of 12, 18 months, you know, 2 years since he's become the MD. I just think he's done an incredible job, hasn't it, getting us kind of like, or just keeping us going, really, shall I say. And, you know, he's such a top bloke, and obviously I think it's going to be a big loss to the club when he does go, and wherever he ends up going in the future, obviously it'll be a massive gap for his future employers as well. So, but yeah.
I got a chance to work with Ian way back when he first started at Blues. Obviously, I worked at the club then, and he was in the marketing team. And he's a great guy. But the one thing that I love about it is he's one of us. Yeah. You know, there wasn't that many staff that was really invested in the club by heart. And I'm not saying that they don't do a good job, but you know that anybody on this show here, if we worked there again now, we would do it for the love and the heart of the club. Yeah. And he was one of those guys, and I know he still is. And the fact that he's celebrating with the fans and yourself on Saturdays, he's celebrating because he's a fan. Yeah. And I think that one big thing he did say on his going out talk a little bit was, I'll see you at St. Andrews in the future. You know, I'll see you in the Tilton, or I'll see you wherever, but I'm going to be back. You know, I'm a supporter. I'm going to be a badge on my sleeve.
Yeah. But let's get back onto the game then, sorry. So, Alan, give us your thoughts, mate.
Loved it. Absolutely loved it. Enjoyed the game. There was good football played. We should have been 4 up at half-time. And we were a goal, we were 1-1. But, hey-ho, I'd rather have 6 or 7 chances and only take 2 than having 2 and taking 1, because we played some good stuff, and Dembele's goal, he just outpaced everybody. The only thing that was annoying me was the bloody referee and the linesman on my side of the pitch, which is the main stand, were bloody awful. And again, we don't want VAR, but if we'd have had VAR, their second goal would not have stood. He was offside, only by a hair's breadth, but he just didn't get it. The linesman, he wasn't with his. I'll give my famous shout to him. Northern Premiership for you next week, pal, because you're awful. And when you. What I'm getting at, you look at the statistics of the game. We drew 2-2. We had 11 shots, of which 8 were on target. They had 3, which 2 were on target, and both went in. Right? They also had 21 free kicks given against us, compared to their 11. Now, if you're going to get 21 to 11 free kicks, you're going to have an awful lot of possession, because the referee keeps giving it to you. Come on, carry on. Yeah. And when you look at the possession figures, and they're only, it's like 48-52, and I think they slightly had more possession. But they've had 21 free kicks to our 11, so their figures should be 60%. So we've done something right there as well. I'm just looking forward to. I'm looking forward to tomorrow. Let's see what we can do tomorrow. One day soon we're going to get 3 or 4.
Yeah, we are.
And wipe the opposition out. Before half time. It's going to happen. I've been watching the highlights of all the games tonight before I came on, and the defensive shows I've seen by various clubs is appalling. Now, the Albion got a report and it said, classy Albion outdo Blackburn. Well, if you look at the 3 goals that they scored in the first half, the goalkeeper dropped 2 of them and somebody edited it into the back of it. Was chaos, Blackburn's defence. I was thinking, why don't they play like that against us? The whole game, were awful. They conceded 2 silly goals. And each game that come on, I'm thinking, Ipswich, they were being outplayed and they scored 2 goals against, who was it? Sunderland.
Yeah.
Sunderland were playing them off the park and they lost 2-1. And they conceded a goal to a 5'6" bloke from ahead of a corner. And our defence ain't that bad, is it?
No. Dembele's goal. Let me tell you what Dembele's goal reminded me of. And those of us that are old enough to remember, when we beat Blackpool 7-1 on New Year's Eve in 94, when Louis Donoghue ran.
Louis Donoghue,
yeah. It reminded me of Louis Donoghue, that goal he did. But Mark, talk us through your thoughts, mate, on the match.
Pre-game, it was just a sense of relief, wasn't it? Walking up, it was just the buzz, and people were it was just pure looking forward to it. It's not a chore again, it's something to look forward to. And like we've all said, it could have been 3 or 4 at half time. I thought there 2 sort of routine goals that we conceded, but it should have been 4 or 5-2. It shouldn't have mattered, really. Like I say, Dembele should have buried his one at the start of the second half. I thought Sunic had a really good game. I think he broke up a few attacks from them. They all put a shift in. Hogan, to be honest, in my view, he had a better game than Stansfield.
I thought Stansfield's better in the middle than out wide, I think.
Yeah, he seemed a bit lost out there. He still put the effort in, but you could just tell. Hogan, he deserved a goal. He really did.
They could make a good partnership, couldn't they, Hogan and Stansfield?
Yeah, I was thinking that, because we haven't had that. You said it before, Paul. We haven't had that pairing since Shea and Juki. It'd be good to have a good pair. But really look forward. Tomorrow, all right, it's not going to be a big crowd. We're going to have a few reserves and fringe players, but I can't wait for it already. I'm really looking forward to it. And it's plus the fact, why not have a cup run? It could be a bit exciting. Yep. But looking forward to tomorrow and looking forward to Saturday against Stoke. Yeah. I think we owe them, to be fair. We owe them big time.
We do.
Yeah. Great.
Can I just mention one of our midfield players is getting a bit of stick lately from various people, namely Bielik, because what does he do? Well, we saw what he did do when he wasn't there, because nobody else could do what he does. And on Saturday, I was particularly interested in his play. And you know what? He never gave the ball away once. Not with his head, not with his feet. He was surrounded by people trying to get the ball off him, and he shook them off and laid it. Not always a brilliant telling pass, but we retain possession. And it makes an awful lot of difference when you can pass the ball into the middle of the park, and that man can shug off challenges and lay the ball forward into somebody's path, because you keep the momentum going. And he doesn't have to make world-class passes inside the fullback for somebody to run under. He does occasionally, and great, but he's just got to keep that ball. And everybody, I'll just say to everybody who's giving him stick, next time you go to the match, just watch him and tell me if he gives the ball away, because he doesn't.
I think he did deserve the stick. I think after the Coventry game, when they highlighted him jogging back, I think we do realise that we need him more than we think. But I think all of them stepped up. And I think that no way somebody who wants to play forward. Like he even said, it's like the left back going, instead of going forward, he went sideways. Now, he's not actually saying Buchanan didn't do it. He's just giving it as an example, which is really nice. And it was nice to see that when Sanderson got it and there was pressure, he just hit it forward. Well, that makes sense. It's like Ruddy got it, and at times he tried to pass it, and at times he got rid of it. So I think Bilic will be a big player for us. I agree with you, Alan. I think he just moves the ball. He just keeps the ball going, and he does that little nitty-gritty work that you need.
I think I'm going to name Bilic and Sanderson now, and I think they are better when they've got their mate next to them. So I think Bilic is better when he's playing with Sunic, and Sanderson's better when he's got Kevin Long next to him.
Yeah, that's true.
You beat me to that, Paul. I was going to say, Bilic is much better with Sunic next to him. And also, we people went into him in the Coventry game, and we mentioned it on the show then. The style that Rooney was playing didn't suit Bilic there. I think Bilic and Sanderson, the two you've just mentioned, are the two that really struggled the most under that manager. I think, Sanderson's still lacking confidence for me. He looks slow right now. He doesn't really, but with Sunic and Bilic, they're stable players. If you get, if you then play James above them, if James goes, you get somebody else in there, I think you're going to create a lot of chances within that 10 position because you've got those two stable players behind that will pick the ball up and just do their jobs, and Rooney was asking too much of some of these players, and that's why I think they were really struggling at the time.
Yeah. Craig?
I can echo every single sentiment that I've heard. I mean, the one thing that stood out for me about Saturday was people put their foot in. So there was a couple of occasions where we saw some proper Birmingham City crunching tackles, which we haven't seen for weeks. Sanderson, right in front of our own goal, had no mercy. He was getting the ball no matter what. You mentioned Bilic, right? Bilic did it. Sunic, also the same thing. Nobody was afraid to not put their foot in, and the press that came from the front line, I think, was actually being a lot generated by Hogan. We've said how much of a good game he had, but actually, it was his work rate off the ball that opened up opportunities for a lot of people. And when he was running towards the goal mouth, you always had two defenders being attracted to him. Same for Stansfield, and that's what opened it up from Dembele with his goal. Once he'd beaten them, the space was there because they generated it for them, and we've really, really missed that. We talk about the defence. I thought Buchanan, actually, he was 50-50 for me on Saturday. I didn't think he had the best game. He made a couple of mistakes that was unusual for him. He was almost actually nervous, like a first game for me, was what I saw from him. But again, it comes down to the fact that I've only been with that manager for realistically 3 days of sitting down and actually doing stuff. And there was a difference. There was a fight, there was a passion, and there was a drive to not give in. We didn't see heads dropped when we scored goal. We were straight away, we were back at it and up against them. And I got to agree with that comment of even looking at from Mark. You go into that added time, and it still looks as though we could score. And it's arguably we could have won it. It was it was teeing up for me to be one of those Man City moments. 2-1 down, going into injury time, and ended up coming away with a 3-2 win. But we were unlucky not to get it. We had opportunities. The one thing I will say is we've got to be clinical, because if we were clinical, we were well and truly out of the game by the time it came to half time. I'd turn around and say, if we'd have put our chances away, then Chris would have been presenting naked in the cold.
The thing is, we've had 3 pre-seasons now this season, and there's only been 1 pre-season, isn't there? And it's going to take Tony Mowbray time again now to learn about the players and get to know their strengths and weaknesses. And I just think I'm confident now that as each week goes by and each game goes by, we'll get better and better in every game. We'll be better. I think we'll be better at Stoke than we were on Saturday after he spent another week on the ground with them. But a great point came in just on notice from Steve Portman. He just said that with Dion Sanderson, he's adding extra weight on his shoulders being the captain. Would it be better maybe to take that off his shoulders and just let him play and concentrate on his game? And I think Kevin Long could be a good captain instead, possibly. Which was
Yeah.
what do we think about that, Claire?
I think it's having someone who's going to be regularly in the side. I think Sanderson does like being captain. But like you said, I do agree. I think at the moment he needs to concentrate on his game instead of, he's not that person like when Jukovic comes on, he will, talk to people and tell people what to do. And I think I think he needs to concentrate on his game as well, because obviously he's been out for so long as well. I don't know who you would give it to otherwise. That's the problem. That's what I think is the problem at the moment, is that we do lack leaders as such on the pitch. So we've had it years gone by where you've gone, right, if they're not playing, then they're going to be captain, like the Barry Fergusons and, even like the Brian Hugheses and things like that in the middle of the park, where that they're going to do something and, they can give you a tackle and things like that. So it might be an idea. It might be, I don't know, do you give it to Ruddy? Just as a few games, because he's probably the next option. Or obviously, if Jukovic is starting, then he would probably be it. But I do think that Sanderson does need to concentrate on what he's doing. Hopefully, I would rest Sanderson tomorrow. I would say, Sanderson, you played a few games. Let's get some of the kids in. Let's get like Dixon. I'd have Dixon at least on the bench tomorrow. Put him on for 15 minutes. I don't expect a full-strength team at all. He's got to see everybody, play Longello, play some of these players, Gardner and things like that, because he's already said Hogan's not going to play in his interview, didn't he? So,
yeah. Do you not think, with him still experimenting in the squad, though, do you not think that we might see more first-teamers like them, maybe, 2 or 3, say? I think you might see 4 or 5 myself, and then he'll go with the other 6, obviously, that don't play as much.
I think the ones who are on the bench on Saturday will play.
Yeah. So,
Burke hasn't played the last 2 games because Rooney hasn't been there. But I'm not going to say any more about that. And, you've got like Anderson, for example. You've got Jukovic, I think, will start. I think there'll be a couple, but I would rest a lot of them. I think, after the Christmas period and they've played a lot of games, let's bring some of the kids in. Donovan. I'd play Donovan as well, because he didn't even make the bench at the weekend. So, try these players out. Let's see, get Longello back in, because you might see a difference because they want to play for this manager. I think you can see that they respect him. You can see that they have taken in 3 days. If that's how we're going to play, think about a week, think about a month.
Yeah,
we're optimistic now going into it.
Yeah, definitely. Now, one thing I was outraged by at the weekend, and I want to send on my, deepest condolences to his family, the Bolton Wanderers fan, who sadly in the ground. The Sun newspaper hang their heads in shame.
Oh, that's scum. That's scum.
Disgusting.
Absolute disgusting comment that was. To put that on the newspaper as well was just bang out of order. I mean, to say that, it said something like football cancelled as fan falls ill or something, was it?
Yeah. Football binned over ill fan or something, you said it.
Yeah.
That was it. Yeah, that was the exact words, Mark. Yeah, and I just thought that was an absolute and I know, I appreciate that they probably didn't know that he'd passed away at that point, but even so, it's just, I've got no words for it. It was just a disgrace, wasn't it?
They are a disgrace.
Yeah. It's horrendous that they even thought about putting a headline in there in the first place, because at the point that was published, they knew that poor person had lost their life. And, for me, that's a fan. That it's somebody that's gone to the ground to watch their team play and with their family and not returning to their family. It doesn't matter who you are. Football's a family, and we all, respect what happens. And yeah, I agree. Our condolences to that family on the loss.
Yeah.
It should never ever have been reported like it, and there should be an apology. There should be a public apology from them for what they did.
I think so. Oh yeah,
100%.
Well, they never apologised for Hillsborough, so they're not going to apologise over this, are they?
No.
This is the problem: is they just get more and more heated. But whoever's wrote that, we all understand, and I think everybody understands that. Yes, football, and we all say football's life and death and whatever else. We all love football, but football's a game. And when that happens, and like Craig just said, when a supporter goes to the stadium, That could be somebody's dad, granddad, brother, whatever, son. They don't come home. Football doesn't matter. I'm sorry. You had the craziness at Reading when the fans were running on and doing the owner stuff, but that's a little bit different. But you're talking about somebody dying on the stands, and all you care about is the football not being played. You think about the players on the field. I don't think they want to go out and play again after they've just found out somebody died in the stands either. So let's be smart with that, and just I think they've upset a lot more people than they need to. But the problem is now people continue to buy and newspapers and media, and how many years now has media ruined people's lives or said something wrong? But everybody continues to read it on a daily basis, and that's why they can still continue to do it.
Yeah. I've always said it's a bloody comic anyway, that newspaper. And I'll never forget when Mark Vivian Foe passed away on the pitch, and the picture they put on the front of the newspaper when that happened as well was outrageous.
Yeah.
Remember that? Shocking.
Yeah. And the African nations, wasn't it?
Yeah. They just don't. Whoever's doing this just can't have a brain between their ears. It's outrageous.
Yeah.
Well, what sort of conscience would you have? I mean, I can't fathom it at all.
No.
I'd love that. I'd love that publication to go out of business. To be fair.
Yeah.
Like you said, Paul, it's just a comic.
Is it still a thing anyway? Going to the paper shop and buying a newspaper? I mean,
I know.
with all the,
I don't think
with
it really
all,
does.
I haven't actually picked up a newspaper now for years and years.
No,
When I worked at the co-op, people buy them religiously on a Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Mr. Sports Argus.
I miss the Argus.
Oh, the Argos.
Last newspaper I bought was the Argus.
Yeah. We all sadly missed
25 years since that published.
Even walking through town though and picking up the evening mail then before it was the Birmingham mail, but picking up the evening mail from the stands there. Wolfie's mom used to own the stand there by McDonald's, and you go there and get your paper. And, those days have gone though, unfortunately.
Yeah. So sending all our love anyway and condolences to the guy's family that lost his life at Bolton Wanderers at the weekend, and they've always been a very welcoming club as well, haven't they? Whenever we played there, I've been there. I've been a couple of times.
Friendly, they're really good.
They're really good club, and I'm glad they survived. Obviously, the scare they had a couple of years ago as well. If you remember, they were in trouble at the same time as Bury, wasn't it?
Yeah, very
was it
close.
Bury? Obviously, Bury went, but they were in trouble at the same time.
Bolton were in trouble as well. Yeah,
they're always in trouble. Bolton have always struggled with money.
Yeah.
Nice little segue to the announcement today, and I guess I'd just like to know the panel's thoughts and people's thoughts on the message board. The announcement that Nottingham Forest and Everton now have both been penalised over financial fair play. I think back to when we were, and then how everybody at the moment has talked about we've got to go and splash the cash, we've got to do these different things, we've got to almost buy ourselves out of trouble. Actually, I think it just proves now that the finances don't get you out of trouble. It's actually around the way your business is run and that income expenditure in comparison to what we spend. So, what are people's thoughts on Forest and Everton? I've got to say, Forest for me was inevitable. I don't see how they could have brought in so many players without failing.
Absolutely. I mean, how can Man City still get away with it? 115 charges.
They may not.
They probably haven't been.
Because they've got 115 that they can't get around to doing them. That's the problem. If they lose half a dozen.
And Chelsea.
I think the problem is we were talking about this before we came on, is literally I was just watching Sky Sports News, and they're saying that with all of how it's going to go, the actual date that they will make a decision is 5 days after the Premier League season.
Yeah.
So because of where Everton and Nottingham Forest are, it's ridiculous because they're saying that there could be teams sitting there waiting 5 days later, not knowing if they've stayed up or not. So this is where it's going to get, I think, a little bit messy because Everton are saying that they accept it, but they will appeal. And Forest are saying about Brennan Johnson because of when it happened and things like that. And I think the word they said, mitigating circumstances. So they've already said that the lawyers will be onto that word. So I think there's a lot more coming. But you can't have Man City with 115, and then all of the clubs like us and other clubs, soon as it happens, we get points deduction. So we'll see what happens.
I think the issue I have with the financial fair play totally though is that football's a different game at whatever level you're at, and if you talk about the Man Cities and the Man Uniteds and people like that, then they are. We talked about this before. On a daily basis, they're bringing in thousands and thousands of pounds a day, more, just on just them, media coverages, sales, everything like that. So all they do is they go out and buy and they make their team stronger and stronger and stronger. And they just take that the top 4 or 5 Premier League teams now are head and shoulders above the rest in regards to spending money and being there in the league. You get someone like us, or you get someone even lower than us that we don't bring that much money in on a daily basis, but we still have to go out and buy players to keep ourselves in the function of what football's about right now, because that's what it is. It's a business. So where is the caps? And there should be different caps in regards to, right, if you're one of these Premier League teams, you have so much millions you can go to. If you're a championship team, you have so much millions you can go to. And that should be a rule that's placed for every club. These 3 clubs that come down from the Premier League each year get a massive parachute payment. They hold on to their best players. They have £40 million in the bank. Why shouldn't those 3 teams now be the best 3 teams in the Championship the next season? And then it just becomes a little bit like we were a couple of years ago, when you just become a yo-yo team and you're up and down because you're not as good as that level, but you're too good for the level below you. So until they actually put caps on it, we're gonna continue to have issues, and people like Man City are just gonna buy themselves out of it. If they can go out and spend 100 million on a player, and then go out again and spend another 50 or whatever else, it's just taken away the whole excitement of actually what football used to be about.
Yeah. No,
Ray Harbrough's message on the boards, he's made a great point. He says, can you imagine being one of these teams that's penalised for failing financial fair play? They get relegated, but they get the parachute payments for being relegated.
Yeah,
the whole point is,
it's like saying, it doesn't matter, we've spent a lot, we've gone down, but it doesn't matter, we're going to have the money to pay that off. So, as Mark's just said, they become one of the strongest teams in the Championship. Then it's not right. If you fail, there should be a period of time where you cannot do anything, cannot buy yourself out of trouble. You have to go with what's there. Man City, I think, have been incredibly shrewd, because since they announced the amount of charges that were being put against them, what did they do? They went out and they bought youngsters. They bought the best of the cream of the crop under a certain age, because they know that doesn't really get accounted for in the figures. And then all of a sudden they're going to have somebody to fall into a position, should they lose players, and, not be in a situation where they're going to struggle. For me, the only way to stop these teams is to not just penalise them in terms of points, but is actually start really, really coming down hard. People should be relegated because they've cheated.
Yeah.
So it needs to be stronger.
Yeah. Steve Farrell, what does everyone think of our announcement on Friday regarding the Oakview group? I think that's massive.
It's huge.
I think it's huge.
Absolutely huge.
Massive.
We're not staying at St Andrews then. That's that
No chance.
sorted. That's that done. NFL games. Bring it on.
Yeah.
There's going to be so much they're going to bring. And I think when you read about that company, they are absolutely humongous. And the deals that they have done for various different areas, even if they could bring 1% of some of those deals to us, that's millions of revenue that's suddenly going to appear. So I think, it's absolutely huge.
I think in the short term...
Sorry, Paul. I was just going to say, I think you'd be naive, really, to think we'll be staying at St Andrews. I mean, I think it's starting to become obvious that we're going to move.
I do think that they will do stuff in the short term, though, at St Andrews to improve it while we're still there. Because obviously, they talked about the biggest, screens, haven't they, in front of the at the top of the the railway end and Tilton, and they've talked about fan zones, haven't they, outside the main stand and the top as well. So there is still stuff on the agenda for St Andrews, but the longer term vision is definitely to move, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Well, they need to make more money, don't they? They need to make the money to push forward. So with what they'll do, what they can with what they've got. But I mean, we've noticed the difference with the food and the drink, especially with the lower bits open. It's absolutely rammed in the Tilton. They've got to do something about it. You can't move anymore. And I think, like tomorrow, £12.50. I've heard different numbers about how many people are going. They could have filled that ground. You could have done a £5 and £1, especially with the weather and everything. Yeah. They could have made a lot of money, and you could have got kids interested. I think that they've missed a trick, really badly have this time, and I think they need to relook at, especially with the Swansea tickets £32 or something like that.
Yeah.
37 or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, 37. Like they were, mid to late 30s, and you're thinking, I know that revenue's important, but I'd rather have, instead of 100 seats at 32, instead you could get 500, 600 at a £5. You're making money. Then you go to the shop. Then you go and get drinks, especially like tomorrow, where you've got cups of tea and coffee and Bovril and everything will go through the roof because it's cold.
Of course, yeah.
You're going to make money. And I think, it's making money, but £37.50 for Swansea. I mean, fair play for those who paid it, but
way too much.
Just all night and everything. Yeah. So
I'm sure there was seats available at the Carling Cup final, less than that, weren't there?
Yeah,
probably was. Yeah.
You know what? Going back to the stadium. Sorry, guys. Going back to the stadium. What I'd love to see. I'd love to keep St Andrews as well, and use that maybe for the ladies' games or whatever. So you look at these. We're not in the scale of the big Premier League clubs, but all these ladies now have their own stadiums to play in. Their under 21s and stuff. There's not, I would even to use it as like a training facility, just so we had everything based in that center of where we are now. Because we got to Henley and Harden to practice, we got Wastills and whatever else, but everything's all over the city. Yeah. Wouldn't it be great to have like some sort of like sports village, so to speak, with your big stadium, and then you got a smaller stadium with St Andrews, and then you've got that little bit of in between bit between the two. I'm talking probably a lot of money now, but I wonder if that would ever be in the plans for the owners to be able to do something like that.
I'd refuse to say. I'd refuse to say village, Mark. It's got that horrible swear word in it, hasn't it?
yeah. Right then.
But I know what you're saying, Mark.
Great idea. Yeah. Give it to the women. Give it to the academy, and then then there's Central Point, and everything's 10 minutes away from each other. So it's not Man City as such, but at least it's down the road. At least you're still keeping St Andrews, and I think for a lot of people that would mean a lot.
Yeah. Conscious at this point. Go on, Craig.
I was going to say, talking of keeping things, there's been quite a few comments on the board around the retain list and contracts list that was in circulation the end of really the weekend and into the start of this week. And it does make really interesting reading when you look at some of the players that are out of contract in the summer. I think we've got 17.
That's a lot.
And there's only 3 of those that are loans. So what are people's thoughts around those 17? Are any there that you would like to retain and keep? Is there a balance that's to be met? I mean, I know my personal opinion is I think our long stayers, people like Djukovic, Long, they deserve an extra period of time, whether it's 12 months, with an extra 12 possible extension for them both. They deserve it for what they've put into the club. And Djukovic, for me, is perfect. He's primed at the moment to be a coach afterwards. And actually, we're saying we need a striking coach. I actually think he could do that. He could do that job. But yeah, people's thoughts on those that are out of contracts at the end. Who would you keep? Who would you let go?
I think for me, it depends on what the budget is and what they've got to spend and what the ambition is in the summer. And from what we were hearing, obviously, at the open house, was that the ambition in the summer is huge, isn't it? It's massive. So they must be bringing more money in than what we actually know of or what we think. To present that to us, they must, it's pretty exciting, isn't it, really? And something sticks with me that Tony Mowbray said last week in his first interview as well, was that if I was a Blues fan, I'd be very excited at the moment as well. So for me, it's a let's wait and see. For me, Djukovic has been a great servant to us. He's been fantastic. I wouldn't be surprised if he did get a new contract, but I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't either. The rest of them, really, I think it's probably time to move on from, isn't it? Depending on who we can get to come in, and you know, they've all been good servants to us in their own right. So even Gary Gardner, I remember Gary Gardner. If it weren't for Shea Adams' 20-odd goals under Gary Monk that season, Gary Gardner would have won Player of the Season. They've all done bits for us at different times, but it just depends on, like I said, the budget and what we've got to spend and what we can do, really, as to whether or not they'll keep some of them or not.
Yeah, I think that's right. We've got to balance it. We've got to balance it out a little bit. We can't just say, right, we're going to lose 17 players and expect them to build a whole new squad, because it's not going to happen. Now, for me, I think the Jukies and then we'll actually move on next year. I think it's that. I love Djukovic and he'd always be Birmingham to me, but I think it's time for him now to go and see something else, maybe play another year somewhere else. But that's going to be, Bobe's got to be smart enough to sit there and go, right, this is what I'm looking to bring in. This is my interest. This is the squad I need to have. But at no stages can he afford to lose 17 players. No. He's not going to be able to do a Barry Fry and bring in 55 in the summer, So we've got to be smart enough to know that we've got still got a decent enough squad. The loans are okay, but we've talked about this before. You keep getting loans every year, and it just never feels like the home to anybody.
No.
No. So we're going to need a new keeper, aren't we?
Definitely.
Yeah, well, there's 3 keepers out of contract, so I think I'd keep Long. Jukovic, I'd give coaching contract to like a year contract with coaching. I'd want to buy Browne. I think he's got a lot of potential. He can play across the back line. And obviously, I think Jay's going to just be too far out of reach. I think he's probably going to go somewhere else. But a lot of the others, like Nico Gordon, he can go. Burt can go back. Oakley. I don't think Oakley's got it. I don't think he's got it. I think he's a League 1, League 2 player. Yeah. And I think a lot of them do need to go down to that level to come back up, and then like Amari Bell did it, didn't he? Now look at him playing for Luton, in the Premier League. So I just think we've had so many years of it being sorrows, and a lot of those players have been part of it. Do we need to just revamp it, get some young kids, and get some decent kids? I'd keep Anderson as well, because I think he's a good.
Is he out of contract?
He only had a year contract.
1 year, was it? And long, okay, yeah. Well, it'll be interesting.
Sorry, Paul. I was going to say Sunich will give an extension too as well.
Yeah.
He's playing out. I think he's playing for a future, isn't he? He's playing for his life. Blue.
He needs to take a wage cut though. That's the
thing, isn't it? It's the wages that's going to be a problem with him. And I think that, like at the start of the season, if we'd have got somebody to take his wages over, then we wouldn't have had him. He was a big trying to get off the wage thing, and the same with Everidge as well. We can't keep paying Everidge money to sit on the bench.
No. And Roberts as well.
Alan, what do you think, mate? Is anyone jumping out at you that we should definitely keep, or are you kind of easy either way, whether they stay or not?
Well, yes, I am. I mean, I know we all love Dukey, but I'd have shown him the door a couple of years ago. Not because I don't like him or he can't play. It's just because he had value then. We could get a few bob for him. He would get himself a nice 3-year contract instead of the whatever we were prepared to offer. But I do think it's time for him to not be a part of our squad. I can, yes, if we can keep him as a player coach or just a coach, yeah, fine. But the rest of them, I'm thinking it's a simple. I always remember Brian Clough when he said about his son, he's our centre forward until I find somebody who's better. And I think that's the way we should go about our business in the next 3 or 4 months. If we can find somebody better than anybody, then we do it and get rid of whoever it is. Now, it isn't easy. I think we've got a very reasonable squad, and it needs additions, not subtractions. Yes, your Burks and various other other people. And incidentally, I saw a documentary about him. He is the most expensive Scottish-born player ever.
Really?
Weinberg, and he beat the record twice. He was sold for 13 million to somebody, and then sold for 16 million to somebody else. And every club he'd been to, and there must be a dozen now, he's flopped everywhere. But that's another story. So we don't need him.
No.
In fact, he's on loan, isn't he?
Yeah.
Can we end
Yeah,
it?
wish we could take
Can
him
we end
back
it now?
End it now, yeah.
We'll pay him to go back to Germany. We'll pay for it, please.
That's right. Yeah. But the rest, I think we just got to suck it and see. It's. Can I get a better player than this one? Then I will. If I can't, then I'll offer him a contract.
I knew somebody was gonna say a Scottish player that was more expensive than Burke, and Tom Richardson has done just that and said Kieran Tierney was 25 million to Arsenal.
Who was?
Kieran Tierney when he went to Arsenal, Celtic.
Yeah, that was after.
Thank
Yeah,
you,
yeah.
Thank
He
you,
broke the
Warren.
record.
Albion.
Maybe he's fetched the most money combined, like with his two moves. Maybe that was what it was.
No, he was called the Scottish Gareth Bale.
Was he?
He was that good as a kid. They called him the Scottish Gareth Bale, and he got sold twice.
Are you
Long
sure
before
that's
Tierney moved.
Are you sure that's
Do you
what
remember when
he
Bale was linked with us? Do you remember the back of the Birmingham Mail?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
called him? Yeah,
McLeish linked with Spurs flop Bale,
Yeah.
3 million.
Yeah.
that's
God,
right.
if only he'd have come, imagine that.
Imagine.
And I think it's been. It was Albion who paid 15 million for him.
That's right. You've got it.
Back
Yeah.
in there.
Crap.
Yeah.
You've seen it. What's he on now? How many clubs has he been to? 12, 13?
Something like that. Yeah.
He's had more clubs than Tiger Woods, right?
Yeah. I mean, when he comes on, I'm not going to. He does put effort in, but he just hasn't got the ability when he gets into the positions, has he? Or he hasn't shown it yet. If he has,
He's too busy on TikTok trying food.
Hasn't he just made a big announcement in regards to his social media side of things? Hasn't he sacked his agent?
I don't
Who?
know.
I read the other day that apparently he has sacked his agent because of the socials, and actually does want to concentrate and focus on the football side of things now. Whether that was somebody just posting it for a laugh, I don't know. But what I would say is if he has sacked his agent and he is looking to be more football focused, then fair play to him. Yeah, unfortunately, I just don't think
He
it's
was on
for
it.
us.
He was on it last night talking about his wedding, and he was trying some more food. So obviously he's not doing a lot of it, is he? Anyway, carry on.
I think he needs to sack his missus if he wants to concentrate on the football, huh?
Anyway, I wanted to do a bit of obviously with it being the new year, and I was conscious this might take a bit of, there might be a few debates here. So I wanted to run through our best 11 of 2023. So anyone that's appeared for us in 2023, what formation are we going to play? And obviously our viewers can get involved as well. Put on the shout box who you think should play in each position. And we'll just quickly go through the team now. So the goalkeeper's obvious, isn't it? It's obviously Ruddy, isn't it, in goal?
Already, yeah.
I don't think anybody played. It was only Every just played in goal in 2023 other than Ruddy, isn't there? And that was at Forest Green. But right back, what do we think about the right back? Let's go around the room. Chris, who's your best right back of 2023 for Blues?
2023.
Yeah. So I'll throw a few options at you. You've obviously got Maxime Colin. You've got Laird who's played for us there. You've got Drama who's played for us there.
I'll probably go for Laird, I think.
Would you?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. Al?
Definitely, yeah.
Laird, yeah. Mark?
Yeah.
I'm going for Colin. I think Laird's not played enough games for me to say that right now. Even though Laird's a better footballer, I think. He's just not played enough games for us to prove that spot. Yeah,
a lot of people shouting Drama as well there. Claire, was silly asking you, isn't it, Claire, really? Right.
Laird's my favourite, so yeah.
Yeah, it's ratio, isn't
Mark,
it? It's ratio.
Mark Adams?
I'd say Colin, to be honest. I love Laird. He's like a modern day Michael Johnson, his personality and that. But I just think at the minute he hasn't played enough games.
Okay. And Craig?
I think I'm going to go with the board actually, and the drummer. I think he is standing out at the moment. You know, he's somebody that come in that almost you could say was second string option because Laird was always going to be your first pick, but since he's come through, now be very, very hard to drop him. If Laird was fit, I'd still say it'd be very hard to drop him.
Okay, let's go with a. So it's looking like drama then, isn't it? Looking at the votes on the chat and that. I would have gone Colin myself personally, but that's just based on longevity and the amount of games that he played in 2023. Because I think he played more than Drama and Laird put together, didn't he? And he was Mr. Consistent for us. I thought as well. I thought he was a good player for us. But anyway, let's go for a centre half partnership. So I'll start us off with my thoughts, and I'll go for Kevin Long and Austin Trusty. Anyone disagree with me?
No, I'm the same.
I'll go with that.
So go on, Craig.
Trusty and Sanderson.
Yeah. Trusty and Sanderson. When Sanderson was next to Trusty, he was immense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Alan?
Sanderson, Trusty, yeah.
Okay. Anyone any different to that?
No, I'll go same.
Okay. Left back, last season at left back, we had Trusty left back, didn't we, for a bit?
Longhello
was playing with wing backs. George Friend, did he play last season?
George Friend had a couple of games, yeah. Played against Millwall, which we won.
Who was the main left back last season until...
Trusty.
Trusty, yeah.
Makes sense. More often, though, wouldn't it?
Didn't he?
Yeah.
Well, they shuffled them about, didn't they? Because really and truly, we hadn't got a consistent left back, and they kept swapping.
Even Colin played there sometimes, didn't he?
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm forgetting someone there that's blatantly obvious, but I'm not, am I? But
No.
okay, so it's got to be Buchanan then, hasn't it?
Certainly has.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the back four. Then Drama, Sanderson, Trusty. And,
sorry, Paul. Jordan Graham filled in there a few times.
Jordan Graham played there a bit. Yeah.
I'll keep with Buchanan.
Yeah.
Yeah, Buchanan's the best left back I think since Murphy to play for us, isn't he? Probably.
Yeah.
Okay, what are we going for? 4-3-3. We're going one holding or two holding. We're going 4-2-3-1.
We're going 4-2-3-1. That's what we've always done quite well with, haven't we?
Yeah.
Okay. So holding midfielders then. Who's played holding midfield for you? You could go Hannibal. You could go obviously Bielik. Dunwich didn't play last season, did he? He's only played this season.
No, he was in Germany, wasn't he?
Bielik for me, what he showed last season, and also what we see glimpses of so far this season. He has stood out as being that player.
We've had Bakuna drop back there and Jordan James drop back there as well.
Yeah, Gardner's played there, Gary Gardner.
Yeah, Gary Gardner.
Gary Gardner's played there as well. I'm just trying to think, are we missing anyone else? Who else did we have last season?
That was it, wasn't it?
You've said Hannibal.
Chong.
Yeah.
Chong.
Yeah, Chung will be in the more advanced, won't he? But who's the two holding then? I think Bielik and Sunic have certainly the start of this season in the first sort of half a dozen games.
I think Hannibal for last season, I think he really took off. And I think without coming here, he wouldn't be even within the Man U team. I mean, he's gone on loan, hasn't he, to Sevilla, hasn't he?
Yeah. Alfie Chang as well, Pete Taylor has put on the chat as well.
Oh, yeah, Chang, yeah.
When he's fit, I think he's going to be another JJ for us, I think. I think he's going to be brilliant.
Yeah.
I would go Hannibal the same as player, I think. I'd go Hannibal with Bielik.
Yeah. A lot of people agree with you, Mark, on the
chat.
I would go with that as well.
Yeah. Okay, let's start with
Bielik and Hannibal. I love Hannibal. I told everybody he'd be in Manchester United's first team this year, and I was right. Now they've flogged him off.
Yeah.
But Seville, I'd rather pay for Seville. Seville going to, they're a decent team, aren't they?
They just picked him to prove you're right, Al. Man United just give him a game to prove that you was right. That's all it was.
Well, of course.
Anyway, what we saying? Left wing then. Left wing, who we got?
Dembele, Anderson.
Last season, I'm thinking there's someone last season.
Chong.
Oliver.
Kadra, did we have Kadra last season?
Kadra,
Kadra, yeah, that's a good one. He was a good player.
Yeah, he was decent.
Kadra was a good guy.
Longello played there a bit further forward a couple of times. The Swansea away last season sticks in my brain when he went further forward. Excellent.
Class.
Yeah.
That him and Trusty down the left side was just ridiculous.
Yeah. So who are we going for left wing? Keshi Anderson's another one you put there.
I think it's got to be Dembele, yeah.
Got to be Dembele, yeah. It's the ability. Yeah.
Yeah. And don't forget, this is just in 2023. So anything that's happened, obviously, this month don't count.
So don't want anyone saying Lazaridis or anything.
Who are we putting in the 10 then behind the forward?
Blatchford.
Bakuna. I think Bakuna needs a mention for he plays in every single position, like right back. Like he would play in goal if he could for us. And I think he's, because I think he's been one of our best signings for the last few years. He can always come up with something, and I think he needs a mention because fair play gives everything.
I think we're gonna have Bakuna for a few more years. I think he could, we're gonna have a good chunk of service out of him.
Well, put JJ into the equation after recent performances as well, and he all of a sudden seems to have found his goal scoring touch. But hey, got to look at how many times did we score last season from outside of the box, and because we were always shouting shoot, never did. Now he can't stop it from outside that area, so it's JJ's got to be in that running.
Craig, 2 positive things from Wayne Rooney coming to Birmingham City Football Club. 1, Jordan James. He got Jordan James going. And 2, he had his photo with me.
Exactly.
There you go.
There you go. There's 3.
That's probably why he left.
And he wasn't allowed with me, so there's 4, I suppose.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, obviously it didn't work out for Wayne Rooney, but he did get Jordan James going, didn't he? He has sort of made Jordan James discover himself. But can we really pick him based on the amount of games? I mean, he only started playing for us really since October.
Because he was right back half the season. That's why.
Yeah.
He never played in his position.
Yeah,
I think Chong was probably one of our better ones when he was on.
Yeah,
the 10 role.
In the 10, and then you got Miyoshi as well, who we haven't mentioned.
Yeah.
You got. I mean, for me, I think I'd agree with you, Claire. I think I'd go Bakuna personally because. Got goal of the season. He probably got the best goal of the year, didn't he? At Hull away.
The whole one, yeah.
So yeah, I'm agreeing with you. I'm going to say Bakuna, but what's everyone else's thoughts? Obviously, we'll go with the majority, whoever votes the most.
What position is this? The 10?
This is the 10, yeah, beyond the striker.
Got to be Bakuna.
You could put him right if you wanted to, but. I think that's his best position. If JJ did move on, then that's definitely, for me, who would play there. But yeah, I agree with Warren Starling there. Chong was so lightweight. He was lightweight, wasn't he? Even though he had quality, he did have quality.
Yeah.
So we're all agreeing on...
go Bakuna.
Bakuna, yeah. And then right-sided?
Chong.
Kadra, he played quite well.
Kadra was decent, wasn't he?
Tom Richardson saying that Bakuna's goal at Hull was 2022. This is how fast time goes.
Really?
It is, yeah. It was before Christmas.
Was it?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was the same season, right? But it's just...
Maybe that's another debate then, the best goal of 2023. But let's finish the team first. So who's going on the right? Chong. Who else did we have? Anderson. Last season? Anyone else last season?
I mean, you could always say
George Hall.
George Hutton, yeah.
George Hall.
Hamstrings made of glass.
I think I'd go Chong in there. I think he needs to be in there.
Chong. Yeah.
I mean, he gave us £5 million. I mean, he helped us, didn't he?
To be fair with Chong, as well, he must have been doing something right to end up in the Prem.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the striker through the middle. I'm bearing in mind that Scott Hogan got a hat-trick at the Baggies. That was in 2023, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think he did quite well in 2023, Hogan. I think people...
Hogan was
Yeah, he had a really good season. Didn't he get 9? Was he highest goal scorer in 9?
10 he got.
10.
Yeah.
9 or 10.
Yeah, I think you've got to get Hogan on that one.
You got Jay Stansfield, obviously, who scored on his debut, a lovely goal against Plymouth. You got Djukovic, obviously, always Djuki, yeah. Them are the main 3, aren't they, that we would choose from? Troy Deeney, we obviously as well.
No.
What's wrong with Troy Deeney? He got a goal of the season last year.
He didn't
Yeah,
do
before, was it?
anything.
I
That's the
can't
only
remember.
thing he did.
He did more than Oliver Burke. He did more than Oliver Burke, didn't he?
Only just.
He scored a couple of goals for us. He got a good partnership going at the start of last season with Hogan, didn't he?
He didn't do enough.
People will argue Stansfield, but I think just for last season, I think Hogan for us gives us a lot more over the whole year of 2023 than any of the other strikers we have.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
And he got double figures, you know.
I'm getting pulled up here again on Hogan's hat trick. September, October 2022. Tom Richardson again. I could have sworn that was
Come
about
on,
it.
Paul.
One
No,
more
because
strike ball and that's it. You're out.
I know. I'm going to have to
One game.
retire.
He's going to get dropped.
Mine's going.
Hannibal scored a goal against the Albion in the home game, didn't he? Which
Yeah.
was in
Free kick,
2023.
Yeah.
Free kick.
Yeah.
Okay.
Free kick.
Maybe I should retire then. I'll be getting the yellow card.
Bring back Mark Adams.
Uh,
Yeah. He was brilliant.
I'm
last
here.
week. Oh, he's there.
who are we going for?
Hi, Mark.
Strike up top. Who's going for
Hogan.
Got to be Hogan and
Yeah, it looks like Hogan.
Yeah.
Yeah, people are picking him on
Basically, on
Facebook.
goal
Yeah.
scoring, it's Hogan. If you base it on work rate, you've got to go with Duke.
I think goals win the game. So now you can work as hard as you like if you don't put the ball in the net.
Was Hogan our top goal scorer in 2023?
yeah, he was.
I know he was last season, but did he score the most goals in the calendar year?
I don't think we scored many goals anyway. You'd be really. You know,
I
like,
don't even need to ask. I don't
He
even
scored
need
in
to
the
ask.
first home game.
Yeah,
this year.
I don't even need to ask who the manager would be, do I, at the two? And then you've also got a captain to choose as well.
But I think obviously it's gone with Rooney, hasn't it? Nah.
so
Captain.
Eustace with who?
We've had Ruddy as captain last year. We've had Sanderson as captain last year. We've
Long.
had Djukovic as captain last year. I know he's not in the 11, so he can't be in. Has
I
Long
think-
been captain? Has Long been
Long-
captain? Has he?
You're not going to go Sanderson.
Yeah, they're going Sanderson on Facebook.
Yeah, I think that's
Okay. And that was our best 11 of 2023.
Oh, can I say, we've got to put manager in there and Steve Spooner.
And he didn't manage us in 2023.
He managed the 21s and they did better than we did.
yeah.
Yeah, so decent 11 anyway. It's not bad, is it? I think definitely Trusty and Hannibal in this 11 now would improve us, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
And Chong, do you think Chong as well? Yeah, probably. Those three.
Do you know, I don't know about Chong, but I do agree with Trusty. I think if ever there was a footballing decision that was just purely made on Premier League, that's one of them, and that's he missed out on a glorious chance to continue playing football if he'd have stayed with us. Money
Yes,
talks,
yeah.
doesn't it?
He has featured a bit for Luton, though, and I know he's not starting every game, but he's coming off the bench regularly, and he has started a few games. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
The fact that he was kicked up in the air at Coventry, I think, was a part of the reason we sold him, because I don't think he certainly didn't show the kind of pace after he got that injury at Coventry. I know it was late in the season, and probably thought, well, 5 million. Thank you very much. You know, we ain't sure whether he's going to be fit. We'll sell him. He hasn't done what he he hasn't done for Luton what he did against them. I'll put it that way.
No.
And he's been missing. He's been injured, and he's been in and out. But you know, I like watching him play. He was skillful. He was quick, and he could score. He was easy on the eye. Put it that way. You know, you can criticise any player, can't you? But I like watching him.
Yeah, definitely. Craig, do you want to hit us with squad number game?
Yeah, so in terms of seasons, obviously over the past few weeks, I've gone back, but I've got one that's a bit more, should we say, closer to home.
Only 63.
Well, just for you,
2024.
I'm glad to
Well,
see
it's
it.
69 just for you, Watto. But no, it's 2017, 2018 season.
Okay.
So it was the season we had Harry Redknapp, Lee Carsley, Steve Cottrell, and Gary Monk across the season as managers. So I've got a couple of numbers to see whether people's memories are good from that time. So the first one is squad number 50.
Wow.
Second one.
That's the young centre half.
Gordon.
Yes.
No.
No. Well, it's the other one then. The other young one.
49 is the other number that I want you to go for.
How
And
many
then-
played in what ones?
How many what, sorry?
How many players in each squad number? Just one?
Yeah, there's only one. So what I'm
49.
after is squad number 49, 50. And just to challenge you one step further, number 1.
The 49 was the young lad, Lembala, Bez Lembala.
Oh, yeah.
Good knowledge. It was
number 50,
Barai Labala.
Is that with
Was
Rice?
number 50 was number 50 Stephen Gleeson?
Oh, you're getting too good at this, Mr. Hipkiss. He was
No.
indeed.
It was.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, was squad number game.
Oh, but no.
We ain't got
Who was number 1?
So it weren't Tommy Cush in goal, was it? Because he always wore 29.
He wasn't any of the three goalkeepers. He weren't Truman, Stockdale, or Cusack. He was somebody else.
Cusack.
So it wasn't Cusack, no?
It wasn't.
No,
it
It
wasn't.
wasn't Cusack.
Was it? It wasn't Camp, was it? Was that? Did he come in at the back end of that season? No.
No, wasn't Cam.
Oh, no, it wasn't him, was it? The tall bloke. The tall goalkeeper. The very, very tall goalkeeper.
Did he wear gloves?
Yeah, that's the bloke.
Oh, you are right, actually, Chris. He was one of our taller goalkeepers.
I know who it is. I can't think of his name.
Wasn't G-Cock, was it? Zach G-Cock.
No, it's not the
Where was
obvious,
he?
obvious one. Come on.
Did he play? He didn't play that season, did he?
I think he got just one appearance.
Wow. In the league?
But did he play? Did he get his appearance in the early rounds of the cup, like the early part of the season?
Yes.
No,
Blimey.
not Stockdale.
Not Stockdale, no, because he's 13. He always wore 13.
No, I know. It's begins with C, isn't it?
No.
Connell Truman.
Oh, for God's sake.
Connell Truman. Not Connell Truman, he was small.
Oh,
but
Truman, no.
Yeah, he was.
And 3.
And he's 2017 goalkeeper.
Yeah. Was he with us for a while?
Was it what's his name? Adam Leswiski.
Adam
was
Leshton, yeah.
Legstons, that's correct. That is correct.
Adam Leshton, yeah.
Yeah.
And he went to
that-
Scotland,
that-
Scotland, didn't he?
That's like
Yeah,
I
he's in
was thinking
Scotland somewhere now. Yeah. That's
Yeah,
it,
went to
then.
Scotland.
We got it all now, Craig. We got it all.
Okay.
We have indeed.
Oh, we are. Yeah, done. Yeah, finished, Mark.
Oh, he's got another one?
You got another one?
I've got one more. Just one more. Number 40.
That season, Robbo.
Oh, they see that one was too easy, wasn't it?
It was Robbo. Give us another one. Give us another one.
Give you one more and one more then. Okay, let's have a look. It'd be harsh to give that one.
No, we'll be the judge of that, Craig. Thank you very much. Go on.
24.
Sam Gallagher.
No,
Who?
Jenkinson.
no.
Oh, that's a tough one.
Was he a tall bloke?
I'll give you. My clue is he was a footballer.
He played for Blues in 17.
Was he left-footed?
Brett Shea, was it? Brett Shea.
Yeah, that's
No,
it, yeah.
No, Brett Jay.
He was left-footed, wasn't he, or right-footed?
He was one of them, yeah.
Yeah, I thought so.
But he's a footballer, so arguably he should be able to play with both.
You know.
He wore the number. He wore the number.
Not all of them.
He wore the number 24. That's for sure.
24. Oh, yeah, Paul Gill's got it, I reckon. Liam Walsh.
Correct.
Wow.
Good knowledge. Good knowledge.
Yeah.
Good knowledge.
Well done.
Good Googling.
Yeah, good googling.
The women in the FA Cup have Leicester away, the same as the men. If we beat
Same
Hull,
as the men, yeah.
What else on that?
That's going to be.
I can't watch it. I've been trying to find it.
It was on TikTok yesterday. The women.
Of course it was. Yeah, live. Yeah, it was live. Yeah,
Have you got TikTok now?
No. I got it on my phone. It was 5 minutes ago, and I managed to get it on my phone.
Fair play.
I actually saw the penalty, which was a joke, and then I watched it at the time.
A nice game actually, and well played. And I it's not very often you say this, but the Burnley goalkeeper was absolutely immense. You know, it's some of the saves that she pulled off yesterday. You'd swear that she was up in the WSL and everything else. There, she was absolutely phenomenal. In fact, Stephen Gill in his blog has given the player of the match to their goalkeeper, despite the fact that we went on to win the game. But it's another notch in the winning belts for Daz and the team. So it was a good 3-1 result in the end. I think fitness just shone through in the injury time and the extra time that was played. Onwards now to Reading on Sunday, which is then followed by a couple of home games, one in the Conti Cup and the other one in the league. So we're on to a really good run, and actually we're trying to get Daz and a few of the ladies to join us on the show, because they've got a real big push now. Women's Super League is not unachievable, and want to get as many people as possible down there to back the ladies in those final 5 games this season, to see how far we can actually get them to go. So there'll be more to come on it. But please, if you haven't read it already, have a look at Stephen's blog. He's very honest in regards to how things went, and they're always a good read.
Right, let's go with.
Can I just add to that, Pauls, quickly? Sorry, the under 21s won 5-0 today as well, and the centre back got a hat trick actually.
Got a hat trick after the first half.
Yeah. So,
Centre back got a hat trick.
Do you know?
Hat
Do
trick.
you know it is? Do you know it is, Mark? No. What was his name? No.
Laith Farney, is it?
Farley. All right. Okay.
Farney.
Was it like a hat trick of headers off corners or something, or set pieces, or?
I'm not sure. I just read that he'd got a hat trick. It's 5-0.
They all count. They all count.
Well, I'll start us off with predictions then for tomorrow night and Saturday. So I'll start with 2-1 to Blues tomorrow after extra time, and I'll go for 1-0 at Stoke on Saturday to Blues. Chris?
I'm going to go 2-0. I'll go 2-0 Blues, and you know what? Fancy a sneaky 1-0 Saturday.
At Stoke, yeah? Al?
2-1 at Stoke, and it'll go to penalties tomorrow.
We're going to win?
As long as we win. Who cares?
That's the point. I would suspect not, but that's what I can. It depends, obviously, what side he puts out. But if we have a young, inexperienced side, then going to penalties won't be won't be very good.
No, exactly. Yeah, Mark Meredith.
Yeah, I think we'll get beat tomorrow night. I think there'll be a few changes, and so I'll go 2-1 Hull tomorrow night, and then I'll take a 1-0 win at Stoke.
Claire?
I'm hoping it's done before extra time because I don't want to freeze to death. But
It's going to be cold.
I reckon 2-1 tomorrow, and I reckon we'll beat Stoke 3-1.
Go on, that'll be good. Mark?
I'm going to go 1-0 tomorrow, and I'm going to go, I think 3-2 at Stoke. I think there'll be a few goals. So, yeah.
Okay. Craig?
I'm going to say 2-1 tomorrow night to Blues and 2-0 on Saturday to Blues.
Okay.
And the message board, we've got Lilypad saying 3-1 to Blues tomorrow and winning 2-1 at the weekend. Warren Starling says thinks we'll lose tomorrow, but we'll win 3-1 at Stoke. Jim Tony saying 2-1 Blues to win at the Cup and 1-0 up at Stoke. I mean, this is a bit worrying, but if Nigel if this prediction comes off, then it's going to be an interesting show next week because he said they're going to win 6-0 tomorrow and 6-0 at the weekend.
Ooh, that's going to be interesting.
Dom Kavanagh has said
I've only got one
2-1
song.
tomorrow, 2-1 win against Stoke. Paul McCarthy finally 1-1 tomorrow, and Saturday 3-0 to Blues.
Okay.
Wow.
Can somebody tell me which division Leicester women are in? They're in the Premier, aren't they?
They are in the Women's Super League. Yep.
And they are where? Near the bottom?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it might be. There might actually be bottom of the Women's Super League.
So we're not out of that then by a long shot.
No.
Good. Let's do them.
You know, just going on to those, you know, the score predictions are score predictions for anybody. But I think, you know, we're certainly going into games now a lot happier and more confident that we've got this manager in. But I think, you know, as always, and we've always said this, we've as fans, we still have to stay level grounded in regards to what this season's going to be. You know, there is going to be wins, losses, and whatever else. You know, you wouldn't be surprised if you went to Stoke and got beat. You know, we've been into Stoke before and got beat, but I think that's the thing, is we can't now just think because Mowbray came through the door last week that we're going to be playoff contenders again. I think we just got to be smart enough to keep ourselves grounded and go, you know, we take every game at a time now, and hopefully he can push us up the table, because I still think, you know, higher of the bottom half of the table will be where we're at the end of the year. You know, I think we won't get relegated with the manager we have in place. But I don't think we'll push into the top 10 this year, honestly.
No. So, and everybody, I must apologise. I stand corrected. Liv is sitting next to me and said I was wrong with where Leicester are. They're actually 8th in the Women's Super League. So they are above B6. But then it's currently West Ham and Bristol City who are joint bottom. So they are a little bit better, but I wouldn't say they were still the world beaters, shall we say.
How many teams, if they're 8, how many teams are in it?
I was going to say that.
It's 12 in the Women's Super League.
12.
Oh, okay.
All right, okay.
Oh, right. So, okay. Well, we're top, you know. We're used to winning. They're not.
Well, while we're talking about apologies, can I just apologise for the my slight swearing at the beginning? I didn't know we were on air. Sorry.
You swear?
Yeah, I know.
God, that's Mark Meredith last week.
It's not like me, is it?
Of all people, Chris.
We've had Watso doing it as well. I mean, you know, we were all terrible. Claire's the only good behaved person.
What have I said?
We'd have to rewind a few shows.
Fun?
We'd have to rewind a few shows.
I'm not sure with you, Mark Meredith, what was worse, Village or what you said last week?
They're all as bad as each other. I'm going to take the ban.
Also, remember we had this meeting at the end of the show where we said, right, what we're going to do is we're not going to butt in. We're going to put that. We're going to put a GIF up. Remember that? Who was the only person tonight, Craig, that put his thumb up and never got a mention?
Indeed, yeah. Oh, and you see, just as we're saying that, Paul's put his hand up to speak.
You all ignored it, so I just shut up.
To be honest, though, I think we do all right anyway.
Yeah, of course we do. Yeah.
And actually, on that point, we talk about shows last week, but hopefully we've got the listeners. But can we say hello to our Filipino listeners who are getting us climbing up the charts in the with the podcast?
Philippines.
What's going on
hello to everybody out in the Philippines that does listen to us. We know secretly it's all because of Mark Adams.
Of course, yeah.
Unfortunately, we're getting rid of him, so we might see a drop. But you know,
No, let's not be hasty.
No, I think ladyboys are in Thailand, not Philippines. No, sorry.
There's an edit for the show tomorrow.
You watch the figures go up now in Thailand.
So yeah, I think we're well equipped now for the rest of the season with what we've got there. I've got no relegation concerns whatsoever with the squad and manager we've got now, and
No.
I think this season now is just let's stabilise and try and finish as high as we can. and hopefully if we can get a couple of quality players in this window, you know, to sort of upgrade us in a couple of positions, then you never know. This league's just mad, isn't it? You know, you get 3 or 4 wins on the trot, and suddenly you're up there, aren't you? But I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm just saying that it's just crazy, and stranger things have happened. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Mind you, if we, to be honest, Paul, I mean, you know, I'd love a cup run as well. If we can scrape past, you know, tomorrow night. I mean, Leicester. All right, it's going to be tough going to Leicester, but they're not Real Madrid. You know what I mean? It's like, why not go on a cup run?
Yeah, Leicester's focus is the league. You know, I'm not going to say they'll put out a totally weakened side in the next round of the cup, but if we are lucky to get there, I think we can. We showed it at home. We can push them. So why not? You know, I agree, Mark. Let's have a bit of fun.
Yeah, I'd love a cup run.
Who was it recently that was requesting that they turn the sound up in St Andrews? Because if he succeeded, I've got a bone to pick with him because I can't hear myself think anymore. Quarter to three.
You can hear.
Quarter
Muffly
to
by
three.
us.
I couldn't hear myself think.
Where's that, Al?
We can hear anything.
In the main stand, yeah. Level with the penalty area I am.
Oh, yeah.
And it was deafening. And what made it worse, it was the bloody music was... Sorry, mate.
It's done it again.
The music was shocking.
Yeah.
I can hear it from my house.
I thought the music was good. It's just at half time and when the subs were going, we've got no idea what's going on in the Tilton. So it literally just... It sounds like...
Put it up on the board for you.
To be honest,
I couldn't even see the board.
To be honest, I love it when the flames go up because you can really feel it. It's nice and warm.
You're not used to that in commentary.
I'm going all night out tomorrow.
Singe your nose, yes. Yeah.
Must be cold behind those concrete walls, Mark.
Paul Gill says maybe Tilton Talk means something else in Filipino.
Going to the question Paul asks probably every week is the excitement levels on the field now. I think mine certainly rose before Saturday's game to about an 8. Is everybody in agreement with that, or was there any difference?
Yeah. I'd say I'm right. Off the field, you mean?
Well, actually, going off the field obviously was always, But even on the field, my thing rose as well.
After one game.
I beg your pardon.
It was good. It was good, Mike. It wasn't that good.
Yes, turn it up.
What's your language?
Chris, there's a lot of people saying that perhaps it's actually because we were called Tilton Talk last week that we climbed the league.
I know, yeah. Tilton Talk, yeah.
Oh dear. Ray Hobro's made a good point there. Shame about Sven-Göran Eriksson. Really sad news that is. And
that's awful.
Yeah, obviously he was England manager when he from 2001 to 2006, was it 2007, and that golden generation of players that we had under Sven. And it's a shame we didn't really do anything, wasn't it? But he was a good manager though. He did get us. He had the 5-1 against the Germans, didn't he, away? And we beat Argentina 1-0 as well with Beckham's penalty in the World Cup, didn't we? And he had a few good moments as England manager, didn't he? So let's hope that some people they go longer, don't they, than what's expected. So hopefully he can do that.
Yeah.
I hope Liverpool managed to let him be on the in the dugout or something, because that was his dream, wasn't it? So I'm hoping that he can sit behind them. And we've just had somebody say, Lily Pad, happy birthday for tomorrow.
Just going to do that. Well done.
Oh yeah,
well done.
Happy birthday.
Well done. Yeah.
Who's Lily Pad's birthday tomorrow?
Yep. She's a bit poorly. She's a bit poorly at the moment, so
we'll get well soon.
Yeah. Get well soon, yeah.
Yeah. So, off the field, I'm still an 8, like I always have been. On the field, I'd say I've now gone up to a 6.5, between a 6.5 and 7. But that's just based on, I'm hoping, like Tommy Mooney said last week, I'm hoping that, Tony Mowbray's going to be what we think he's going to be. But obviously, we've got to do it, haven't we, to get it up to above 7. But I'm more positive now about it, though. What about you?
Well, mine was a 1 last week, 1 or 2, so it's definitely
I'm probably up to an 8 as well, Paul. Yeah.
Can I ask a really quick question?
No.
Who said that?
And it's not our babies are made. But, do you reckon we will keep? Do you think we will keep Jordan James?
So he has been over to the Philippines. Yep.
Jordan James.
Yeah, do you think we'll keep him? Or do you think
I think he
will go?
wants to leave. I generally think he wants to leave, and I think I don't know what his celebration was. It was like
a bit
this.
strange, wasn't it?
Is that I don't know what's going on? Is that I don't know whether I'm staying? Because normally you'd do this if you're staying.
Yeah.
And then also it was like this, and I was like, why is he doing a cranker for? I don't know.
Yeah.
Mind you, Shay Adams did that, Claire, and I think he was gone about 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
I
did that as
he
well.
was saying, why was I not in the team today?
I think it was. I think it was more of why wasn't I in the team?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Bakuna did the same thing, but Bakuna looked towards the bench. If you watched him, but listen, we talked about it. Was it there? Maybe what?
Yeah.
Who knows? But we talked about it in length after the weekend. I'm under the impression that if we get 6 to 8 million for him, then he'll go, and Mowbray will use that money to bring in 2, maybe 3 players that will strengthen the group. Honestly.
Oh, Mr. Meredith, hold on a second. We've got a hand up.
Oh, for God's sake! Well done.
That's Chris Browne's.
Yeah. It's a question for Alan, actually. Alan, can you remember the Blues theme tune when the players were coming out and warming up in the 70s? I remember it. I just don't know who made the song, said Alan Tovey. Do you remember?
I remember there being one.
Sure, what do you want?
No,
Sing the song, Alan will tell you.
I can't remember what it was.
ABBA?
No. It was Mr. Blue Skies, wasn't it?
In the 70s? I don't know.
Nigel Mann, Benny Hill.
I really can't remember.
That's a good
Because
shout.
the thing was, when the players ran out in 1970s, the cheering was so loud you couldn't hear it anyway.
No, I couldn't remember any theme tune or nothing. Gary Marshall says popcorn. Do you remember popcorn?
Oh, pop music.
Claire does, and an hour ago.
What did we come out to before the Tampere?
Mr. Blue Sky.
We've had the Tampere since about 98, haven't we, when Trevor was here? God bless him.
We didn't play Keep Right on the weekend.
No, that was disappointing as well. Because
I felt
really
the atmosphere wasn't great. I know that when we scored, it was brilliant, and at the end, but I felt it was there wasn't much singing. I know at the top of the Tilton we were having a go, but I felt it was everyone was a bit on edge. I don't know what happened.
It might have been to do with the minutes applause for Arthur, but then to me, actually, I'd have much preferred to have done a minutes applause and then cracked into to Keep Right On afterwards.
Yeah. Funky. A few people are saying Funky Moped. Alan and Chris, do you remember that? Does that ring any bells?
Yeah, I don't think we ever came out to
Andrews. I know the song. Yeah.
No.
But the Tampere was the oldest one I can remember is the Tampere, and I don't know whether that was the 70s, because the 80s it was, we only had crowds of about 6,000, and
Yeah. But back then, what was the Robin Reliant at the side of the pitch? Was that the ambulance?
No, they weren't Reliant Robins. They were disabled cars. Yeah, the little blue
disabled cars.
Yeah.
Oh, were they?
Yeah, disabled. Yeah.
Three-wheeler Robin, I thought it was a Robin, like a light blue.
Rodney was watching the game.
Yeah, no, they were disabled cars, and they were actually pushed in because they couldn't get through the entrance properly, so they had to be pushed and manoeuvred in. But I remember them.
Okay, so they weren't actually cars there. They were Motability cars.
Yeah, they were Motability cars. Yeah.
So I remember seeing them, but I never knew what they were.
Yeah. No, I didn't either. Yeah, I didn't either. So.
They used to drive them with a stick.
That's it. Yeah.
Rather than a steering wheel.
Craig, those hands up.
Oh.
I was only going to say. We've gone over time. It's 1 minute
Oh,
past
for
8.
God's sake! Come on, Paul.
Oh, come on, Paul.
Phil and Ollie.
Harvey and Burton playing on
Because everyone was talking about mobility scooters. What are they talking about?
We got into Fergie time. But yeah, so this has been the Tilton Talk Show, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for watching yet again this week. And it's good night from me. I'm Paul Hipkiss, and good night from me. And it's good night from Mark Meredith.
Good night from me, and it's good night from no friends.
That'd be me then. It's good night from me. It's good night from Claire.
Good night from me. See you tomorrow on Saturday. Good night from Craig.
And it's good night from me, and it's good night from the chairman.
Good night from me, and a good night from Mrs. Browne.
It's good night from me, and it's good night from Mark Meredith.
I already said good night, but thank you so much. Good night.
I want you to say it again.
Good night.
He just wants you to say good night to no friends again. That's what it is.
Yeah, John boy.
Thank you, everybody.
Good night,
everybody.
on.
Yeah.
No swearing.
Get down there tomorrow. We can get the
Me out.
balls.
Bye, no mates.
Oh, that'd be me then. Night.
Who are ya?
Hey, Rob, 2024 is your year, buddy.
24 my year, my
What's
time.
happened to the guy outside stadium? Made him, bro. That's it.
Oh, Dave. He's finished it.
That's it.
Yeah, my dad used to work with him.
We should have done podcasting for you as well.
Blues
Come on,
focus.
Blues.
I might do that for some new friends. Hand out some flyers. To be fair.
Get you some. Just get Mowbray some rebels so you can be your friend.
You should be the
Yeah.
new Made in Bronx, Mark. You should be the new Made in Bronx guy.
Mate, new friends.
He lives in Coventry, so it's a bit far-fetched.
Yeah, to be
Just
fair.
print him some badges.
And I'm gonna learn to read. It's the last thing I'll do.
No more pictures.
Oh.
And can I just say thank you to everybody on Facebook and YouTube.
You know what? I actually heard Chris swear, and I didn't